Okay, so tonight in New York, we brought in a studio audience, and we just wanted to talk to you about the rights and the freedoms that our soldiers, our parents, our brothers, our sisters, grandparents, our forefathers fought for. Here it is, Memorial Day. What were they fighting for? Were they fighting for the ability for a bank not to fail? What are the rights that they fought for, and what is it that we have lost? And I just want to open this up to everybody in the audience. What do you feel like? What are some of the rights that we have lost? Carl.
Yeah, Glenn, property rights. Almost 70% of Utah is federally owned land now. Utah was, they auctioned off energy leases, and the Obama administration canceled them almost immediately.
It goes farther than that, yeah. Judge. Property rights.
The Supreme Court has ruled that the government can take private property from one owner and give it to another owner against the will of the first owner, as long as the second owner is going to pay more taxes on it, right, so that the government will earn taxes.
It used to be that you had the right to your own property unless the people benefited from it in a way that we needed to build a highway here or something like that.
You're right. Although my hero Jefferson argued that the government couldn't take property for any reason because it was yours to do with what you wanted.
Correct.
But the Constitution lets them take it, as you say, for a public use, a hospital, a roadway, a bridge.
But now
they can take it and give it to another private property
owner. They can give it to the Hilton.
Correct, as long as the new owner pays more taxes.
Okay. Is anybody here from Pennsylvania? Nobody from Pennsylvania. Did anybody hear that what the federal government has done with the 9/11 memorial in Pennsylvania? Do you know this? Do you know in Shanksville where the plane went down? They were going to build a memorial there, but the federal government wanted a certain number of acreage, and the farmers there and the people didn't want to sell it to them, and they said no. Now there's a small memorial there, but the federal government wanted acres and acres and acres of land. So the government just took it to celebrate or to memorialize, if you will, the heroes on that plane standing up and fighting for their right to be. Our government took that land from the farmers. Anybody have a problem with that, or is it just me?
Kevin, in New Jersey too, with the Highlands Act, they farmers. Hundreds of thousands of acres have been you can't build on it, you can't develop it, it's prohibited, and the farmers get nothing in exchange for that. They just can never put a house on it, they can never do anything with that land.
Leo, you are from Texas, and you are a representative there in the state. In Texas, there is a law. There's a law in Texas. I think there are 30 states that do this, where if anybody has who's had a baby. Who's had children? Okay. I know the guy. I see Brian in the black jacket. He's ready to, I had a baby, and it was tough. It was hard labor. Okay. If your wife had a child or anything, you know that when they come in, they can take a pinprick of your child's blood, okay, out of the foot, and then they run DNA tests on it. Then the government has the right to hold on to that DNA test and all of that information. You fast forward and go ahead and look at what GE wants to do with all of the medical records. They take a DNA test. They find out that your child is prone to heart disease or whatever. How are they going to get medical insurance? What is that information going to be used for? You don't have a right. Leo, in Texas,
we just passed the bill which says the parent can withdraw the DNA test blood immediately. It doesn't stay with the state.
But they don't have a right to say, no, you're not taking that blood from my child, do they?
No.
Why? Is there any more important property that you own than this? If they can take you, if they can take your blood or your child's blood, what would stop them, Judge, from taking your house?
Unfortunately, nothing. So they've destroyed the right to privacy and the right to your own body by taking blood from you against your will.
Okay. How about this one? Who feels that you have a right to succeed in this country? Who feels do you have a right to succeed? No. Keep your hand up. Keep your hand up if you feel you have a right to succeed. Okay. Now, keep your hands up. Keep your hands up. When I say to you, do you really? Because the government says if you're the wealthiest 1%, you could start out poor And now you're the wealthiest 1% or 5%. They're going to take it away. Is that success? Do you have a right to succeed? You might have the right to succeed, but you don't have the right to hold on to it, do you? No. Scott, do you have a right to hang on to it? You have your hand up?
No, in this country right now, they're trying to take every single thing that you have. I'm a businessman in Connecticut. The government doesn't pay any attention to the Second Amendment. I mean, the Supreme Court recently, last year, said that we had the right to keep and bear arms, yet Connecticut has decided what arms I can keep, what arms I can bear. And I'm so offended by the fact that somebody is telling me what I can have and what I can't have. My family had a business in New York for years. I'm in Connecticut now. I can't get a pistol permit, Judge. I'd like a pistol permit in New York. I can't get one. I've got it in probably 45 other states. But New York, where you need a gun more than any other place, I can't carry in Washington, where I need a gun. I can't carry there. So I have a real problem with this. Nobody's paying attention to what the Supreme Court says in the government.
Let me go back to, do you have a right to succeed? Do you have a right to hold on to your own money? How about, do you have a right anymore to fail?
No. The Obama administration would say that there are certain parts of the business community that cannot be permitted to fail,
right,
even if the rest of us have to pay for it.
Right. They can't even be permitted. There are certain segments of society, I mean, our professor from Columbia of economics, David Buckner, you tell me, there are segments, they're not even permitted to make, to take chances on an idea if it might fail because it's too big.
No, conceptually, it's equality of opportunity or equality of result. And what we believe in, or at least what we're looking at in terms of rights, is the right to the same opportunities. What we're seeing, though, is a shift toward the same result. And when you ask the question, do you have the right to succeed, I first started thinking, yes, absolutely, but the right to have the chance to succeed, not the right to be guaranteed of success.
We are guaranteed the right to life, liberty, and keyword,
property.
Pursuit. The pursuit of happiness. But nobody, well, here we are sitting here and we're like, oh no, I got to be happy. Nobody's guaranteed you that. Get up off your big fat butt and make yourself happy. Pursue the things. But I wonder at times if we really have the right to pursue happiness. Do you have the right to pursue happiness?
The limitations that are placed on the happiness once you arrive there are the problems. Because if you're too happy and she's not happy enough, I'm taking your happiness and I'm shifting it to her until she's marginally happy and you're now marginally happy, which creates a great level of marginality.
Yeah, you're just miserable.
That, as humor says that is, it is sadly true. Because I believe that it is the goal of this federal government to make everybody the same financially. No matter how much you earn or how few skills or talents you have, they want to balance everything out, which is a theft of your skills and your talent and your intellect by forcing you to give the result of those skills, talent, and intellect away.
Let me ask you this question. How many of you are fine, because you want to do the right thing for America, everybody's fine with paying income tax? Is everybody fine paying income tax? You're paying income tax. Some income, I'm not saying a level, I'm saying paying income tax. You have no problem paying some sort of tax.
Not happy about it.
You're not happy about it, but you pay some sort of tax. Okay. If I said to you instead of paying your money, by the way, I'm going to call you once a month and I'm going to say, hey, Neil, you got to come Saturday and you got to go work on the park. How many would do that? The problem is that we no longer look at our money as our time. But the more they take of our money, I now have to go out and do another job, or I have to go work something. If I'm a plumber, I got to go fix another toilet to pay for the money that they just took in income tax. We've got to start looking at our money as our time as well, because they're not just taking our money and more of it, they're taking more and more of our time. You have to work late or a second job or on a Saturday, on a weekend, to be able to make ends meet. They are stealing your time with your children and your family. But because we just look at it as money, we don't think it's that much of a problem. Yes?
I think they're taking more than your money. They're taking your liberty away to make your own decisions. That's what is important.
How many people have a problem with, you know, I don't know if anybody saw this, but there was there was a story in the on the front page of the Drudge Report that talked about the checks, the stimulus checks that were being sent out. Millions of dollars have been cut. There was one that was cut to a guy who hasn't lived in America since 1933. He's been dead for years. He was only in America for 7 months. And we sent him a stimulus check.
He's one of the Chicago voters.
Yeah, he's one of the Chicago voters. And you may be right on that one. The question is, how many of us are upset that we don't mind, we have charity in our heart, but I think we could do a better job with charity and help more people than issuing checks to dead people?